I lied to my ex-wife about owning my apartment. When I met Jessica, I was 24 and had just bought a small 2-bedroom apartment downtown. My uncle died and left me some money, so I paid cash for it. The mortgage was zero. But when Jessica moved in after 3 months of dating, I told her we were renting and I paid the landlord $1,500 a month. Why'd I lie? Because on our second date, Jessica went on this rant about how she'd never marry a guy who wasted money on rent instead of building equity. She said renters were financially stupid and she needed a man who made smart investments. So when she asked to move in, I panicked and just said I rented the place. The lie snowballed. Every month I'd write a fake check to a fake landlord named Bill Harrison. I even made up stories about Bill raising the rent or being annoying about repairs. Jessica would get mad at this imaginary guy while I nodded along. We got married 2 years later. The whole time she kept pushing me to buy property. She'd send me Zillow listings during work and make spreadsheets about down payments. I kept making excuses. Too expensive. Bad timing. Market's crazy. She started calling me lazy. Here's the thing though, I was saving everything. That fake rent money, it went straight into investment accounts. By year 4 of our marriage, I had built up over $60,000 just from the money she thought was going to Bill Harrison. Then Jessica changed. She got a promotion at her job and started staying out late. She'd come home at midnight smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. Her phone was always face down. She started picking fights about stupid stuff like how I loaded the dishwasher or folded towels. One night I came home early from a work trip. There was a guy's jacket on our couch, size large. I wear medium. I checked our bedroom and found a whole drawer of men's clothes that weren't mine. She'd been letting someone else live in my apartment. I didn't say anything. I just started documenting everything. Photos of the clothes, screenshots of her location being at hotels when she said she was working late, credit card statements showing dinner for 2 at expensive restaurants. 2 months later, Jessica sat me down and said she wanted a divorce. She'd met someone else named Trevor who owned 3 rental properties and actually had ambition. She said I was holding her back financially because I refused to invest in real estate and wasted money on rent every month. Then she dropped the bomb. She wanted half of everything, including half the rent payments I'd made over 6 years, so she could get her share of our housing costs back. She actually calculated it, $54,000. She said since we were married, she was entitled to half of all money spent on our living situation. I just nodded and said okay. The divorce process started. Jessica hired this aggressive lawyer who kept sending letters demanding financial records. They wanted bank statements, pay stubs, proof of rent payments. I gave them everything except the deed to the apartment. We got to the settlement meeting. Jessica walked in with Trevor, which was bold. Her lawyer laid out the demands, half of savings, half of my car, and the big one, $27,000 as her share of rent payments made during the marriage. That's when I slid the apartment deed across the table. Jessica's face went blank. Her lawyer picked it up and just stared at it. The deed was in my name. Purchase date was 8 months before I even met Jessica. Her lawyer asked why this wasn't disclosed. I said nobody asked if I owned property. They asked for rent payment records and I gave them what they asked for. Nothing, because there were no rent payments. Jessica started screaming. She called me a liar and a fraud, said I tricked her. Her lawyer tried calming her down, but she was going nuclear. Trevor just sat there looking uncomfortable. Here's where it got good. Because we were married, the apartment was considered marital property, even though I bought it before we met. But in our state, premarital assets stay separate unless marital funds were used to improve them. I never used a single dollar of our joint money on that apartment. I paid the property taxes and utilities from my separate account that existed before we met. Jessica's lawyer tried arguing that I deceived her about our financial situation, but my lawyer pointed out that Jessica committed adultery, which we had documented proof of. In our state, that affects asset division. The judge was not happy with either of us, but the law was clear. I kept the apartment. Jessica got nothing from it. No rent reimbursement because there was no rent. The $60,000 I saved went to me because it came from my separate premarital account. Jessica had to split the legal fees with Trevor because she couldn't afford her lawyer anymore.